they've really, from something that I considered to be nigh on perfect, just upped their game completely and brought us this magnificent deck. Hello my ducks, it's Simon here. Welcome back to the Hermit's Cave. Let's get some candles and incense lit. How is everybody doing? It's the last day of my first week off. I'm back in work next week, but I've got the week after. Oops, off. But this week has flown by. Thank you to everybody that watched and commented on the latest vlog, which was the trip to London the other day. And yeah, it was an amazing day. I really loved it. And also, of course, I picked up some decks at Watkins. I thought I'd got some incense to hand, but I don't. Which is really unusual. They must all be over at the other side of the room. But what I can do is I can light some of the stickless and smokeless incense. So that will do the job nicely. Okay, so just drop them in there. All right, so excited. If you did see the vlog that I'm talking about on Tuesday, then, well, I actually uploaded it on Wednesday, but I filmed it Tuesday. You'll have heard me say that I was expecting a delivery today, which it's just arrived. I got really worried because FedEx isn't great for delivering to this building, and they did struggle. So I had to leave my apartment, go and meet them somewhere. Otherwise, this would have gone back to the depot. That wouldn't have been good. Anyway, you will have seen from the title, so I don't know why I'm building the suspense, that we have finally, and this was originally going to be released at the back end of last year. So when I did my top 10 decks of 2023 in December, I said in there, oh, it should be out by the end of this year. I've not heard anything yet. So there's been a little bit of a delay, but we finally have the second version, the second edition. I always put two different decks in. This is mate horror number all over. He is so generous. He said he was just sending the one deck. So now I need to find out which it is. But we've got the second version of the Retina Waite Smith. So a little bit of a backstory. This is where I keep this beauty. And then it's with a crystal, a fire and ice crystal. And it's in this gorgeous Kelly Bear pouch with the neat stitching on that. Oh, I love it. However, I might have to swap this because notice this has silver embellishments. This deck came to me in May. Oh, it's got gold on the inside. Came to me in May of last year. I shouldn't say last year, because if people are watching this at some point in the future, May of 2023, this came to me. And it was an instant love affair with this deck. It is absolutely beautiful. Now, I've been receiving decks for review by decks created by Destiny for a good 5 years now. And for me, by far, this is their most beautiful deck. I love RWS anyway. This is Pixie's artwork that has been redrawn and recolored by the artist who's part of the team at Destiny called Singh Poonfat. Incredible artist. And he's very faithfully tried to keep, you know, the art style of Pixies. And they've used these brilliant colours, but also they've added like shadows. There's so much depth to these cards. It is on the most luxurious matte cardstock. And so for me, it was an easy choice to be my favourite deck. When every year at Christmas time or December, I do my top 10 decks of the year. This year is going to be particularly hard, by the way, already, and we're only in August. Because I used it the most. The criteria I use for choosing my top 10 decks is, you know, the ones that, it has to have come to me that year. It doesn't have to necessarily be released that year, but I got it that year. I use it one of the most, so the top 10 decks I use the most. But that's also linked with, if I'm using it the most, it's because I have the deepest connection with. And this deck ticked all those boxes. So that is the first edition that comes in this box, the Retina Waite Smith Tarot, a 2-part box. There are some additional cards in here, which has Pamela Colman Smith and Arthur Edward Waite, as well as the certificate, front and back cards, etc. I love this gold stamping, it's just beautiful. Now, here's the thing. This was it 1,000 or 500? It must have been 1,000. Yeah, 1,000 copies. Destiny products are so popular. Now, they are based in Bangkok, Thailand. So obviously, I don't get sent all their decks because some aren't in English. They also do some AI decks, but they're very fine with the fact that they know I won't promote or show AI decks. That's my stance. So they don't send me them. But they always do a limited release. So here you'll see it's 1,000. This copy I got was 505. So already over the halfway point. By the time I received it and uploaded it, a few people was able to get a copy, but then because the internet is forever, by the time lots of other people started to see the video, they'd sold out and it gone out of print. So there was a lot of people that were disappointed. I contacted them and asked if there was any chance of a second edition, and they said there would be later in the year. So what I would say to people is that if you see this deck and you want it, I wouldn't hesitate. I also, you have to bear in mind that it is costly because the decks are, I think, for the quality, and they are indie, reasonably priced, but you have to factor in as well that you're going to be shipping from Thailand. So it does push the price up, and I can totally get that because for years, and even still, if I want a deck from the States now, I have to really carefully consider it because of the extra shipping. Anyway, enough rabble, let's take a look. I don't know which one it's going to be because they sent a second deck as well, which I'm trying to think what that might be, what they've released recently that I don't have. So this will be a nice surprise, and what a lovely way to end the week. Now, this should have arrived yesterday, but I was out yesterday, so I delayed the delivery by 1 day, which you can do with FedEx. Little something. Little Pigeon Tarot. How cute. I've never heard of it. I've not seen them on Facebook talk about it, but that's a deck review in the making. So we'll take a look at that, which means this one has to be the Retina Waite. I am so excited. All I know is that we've gone from gold to either silver or chrome finish with it. So let's have a look. I would use my little seam ripper, but I don't think that would work on tough. That's good for removing plastic and things off decks, but not necessarily for sellotape, etc. Here we are. Da, da, da. That. Oh, this is so exciting. So, just looking side by side, I can already see the difference. This, the first edition, even though the backs of the cards and the edging is metallic, it isn't on the box. It's a flat matte, whereas this has that beautiful mirrored kind of cold stamping, even at the bottom, look. Whereas this is, oh, and also this is a 2-part box. This is a clamshell box. So let's dive in. Okay, let's get that under there. There we go. Ooh. Do I need to bring the camera down? I probably do. So let's do that now. Okay, yeah, so close-up look. First edition is in gold, but it is a matte, just a flat printing. Flat printing is probably doing it a disservice, but you know, it doesn't have the metallic embellishers. This is the second edition, which has that sort of silver rainbow cold stamping effect here. It says the same as here, so it says Retina Waite Smith Tarot. 78 multicolored tarot cards, which is exactly the same as what it says here, and redrawn and recolored by Umsing Poonfat. It doesn't say version 2. I love this. This is beautiful. Maybe it says it here. Again, there's only 1,000 copies of this, and this is number 740. I don't know if they're sending them out in order, but if they are, that, you know, indicates there's only a couple of hundred left. 22 major, 40 minor, 16 cards. Yeah, so it doesn't say version 2, which is interesting, because very often when they bring out a second edition, they'll call it version 2. But anyway, this is now in a metallic clamshell box. Oh, look at this. So on the 2-part box, on the inside, you get their branded Destiny over multiple times, which is fine. And these boxes are really sturdy. This is really sturdy as well. It's just so pretty. And I love this inside here, the sun card, and it says Retina, which is really nice. We've got this ribbon. Let's take that out. Look at the inside of the box. Wow. Gorgeous. And then it's in this little bag. So we'll take the cards out, and we'll just do, I mean, look how beautiful this is. We'll do a side by side. So the edges are the same in terms of the speckled metallic, as you'll see here with the gold. Oh, this is thicker. Wow. There is a difference in thickness as well. Does that mean there's extra cards, or is the cardstock thicker? Cardstock feels maybe a little bit thicker actually. It's hard to say, or maybe there's just extra cards. We will see. But you can see the backs as well of both the gold, which is the first edition. Oh, this is beautiful. I think I prefer this one. In my top 10, which I'll link below. I'll link it below, and I'll also link the walkthrough of this one. In the top 10 decks of the year, when saying that this was my number 1 and there's potentially a second version coming out, I do say I don't know what actually they can do to improve this, because for me this is just perfect. And then they go and do it. I mean, just look at the colours in this. They've really, from something that I considered to be nigh on perfect, just upped their game completely and brought us this magnificent deck. Wow. All right, so which is the right way. So we'll start, sorry, just knock the camera. That's the trouble with having it too low, because then I usually knock the arm. So we get our certificate of authenticity. It says certificate rider, force of habit, Retina Waite Smith Tarot Silver Edition. That's why it's not called version 2. So we've got the original and then we've got the silver edition, which they could keep going with this. They could bring out a copper edition, or who knows. All cards have the same beautiful backs. We have the front and back card, which they put in every one of their decks to protect the decks. It harkens back to the days where when we bought a tarot deck, you would have an additional plain card. It's matte on one side, giving you the design, and metallic on the other. Then we have the title card, silver edition. So we're straight into the fall. So there's no Pixie or Arthur Edward Waite, which, because this deck was thicker, leads me to believe that the cardstock is a little bit thicker. Yeah, because at the end there's just an additional Destiny card. So again, having removed all the extra cards from both decks, yeah, it is thicker. So the cardstock is, they've even improved the cardstock as well as everything else. So I don't know what else to say, because it is an RWS. They don't use Pixie's font. They use their own typeface here, just on this kind of semi-transparent banner at the bottom. We've got an elemental sign here, so you can see the fall is an air element. So that sign is there. And other than that, it's just a clean and crisp RWS version. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't think there's any changes to the colour, but for fairness, I will find from the original the High Priestess, and we can have a kind of comparison of the cards as well. There's no point doing a full side-by-side of that, because yeah, there's not, you know, it's not a change of artwork. All right, so there is a slight change of colour. Look at that. Hopefully that's coming out on camera. You will see there's a purple background, which doesn't happen here. In terms of things like the dress, very, very subtle. That's a little bit more blue than this one. But in terms of skin tones and the pomegranates and the background, everything else is more or less the same. But there is a different coloration in the background, having these purple hues. So if you see that, so some slight changes to coloration as well. We'll find a really colourful card. I mean, that's in this deck not going to be hard, but I'm thinking of something like perhaps the Ten of Cups. We'll pause and do another kind of side by side, but this is just, I'm so excited, and I'm very fortunate to have both editions. Oh look, let's stop at the Hermit. We've got to stop at the Hermit, right? I mean, this is the Hermit's cave. Because I don't know if it's, no, there isn't changes there. It's the second card in. Slight changes to colour, and it's not even showing on camera. There's like a brown, let's see if I can show it, like a more muted shadow, kind of like a pale brown into dark, whereas that's not there. But we're talking minuscule changes, really. Again, if you're used to reading the RWS, then that's what you've got here, so no issues at all. It doesn't come with a guidebook for that reason. I mean, any, oh, I'll say any, 99% of tarot guidebooks that are available on the market are, you know, linked to the RWS system. It seems to be the preferred tarot system for the majority. I will add that before Marseille or Thoth lovers come after me, but it is the most popular tarot tradition anyway. But the difference being, I know there's a lot of people, and I've had a lot of comments as well, who just don't gel with not necessarily Pix's artwork, but some of the versions that have come out over the last 100 years, particularly the ones from the 70s onwards. The colours can be quite, it's been described in many ways, garish, gaudy, whereas these have, like I said, they've got depth to them, this shading, the shadows look, which you don't see in Pix's deck. So they're more, they just feel more 3D than perhaps a flatter art style that, I mean, I'm biased, I love Pix's artwork. So, oh, look how luscious that is. I mean, just look at the colours and the sharpness of the image. Absolutely wonderful. The shading here. I love this. Okay, so I said we'd stop at the 10. And let's just quickly, he says, if you can, find the 10 of Cups here, so that we can just do, again, just a very quick comparison of the image, just to see if there are any other sort of changes to the coloration. I don't think there will be. I should have started at the other end because I'm right near the end and I haven't come across it yet. Here we go, right near the end. No, that's identical in every way. So it's interesting, wasn't it, that High Priestess had a different colour background, but that doesn't seem to be, you know, the case for every card. The guys over at Destiny are just genius. And I know I've said it before, but I can't do a Destiny review without commenting on just the quality of their products. I mean, that sound, everything about it. Look at the shadows on this. Everything about their products I love. Just super quality. I'm going through these pretty fast because, you know, it's an RWS. Look at the close snouts. Even the details that often get lost. And I was guilty of that. You know, I've loved Pix's artwork for as long back as I can remember. And it wasn't until we did some, I think it was Tarot Playdate with Jen Phoenix, that we really start to deconstruct the image and break it down and look at all the symbols and what's included in the cards. And my role in that Playdate was to use the, I forgot the name of the book now, but it was around RWS symbolism. And it would point to different things and I would type into chat, you know, what the book was telling us. And it's little things like this snail, even though it's kind of half hidden by the banner, because the banner's fairly transparent, you can see him, but things like that get lost in the busyness of Pix's artwork. Again, here, this is normally quite a difficult image to see all the details, but what Singh has been able to do is really sharpen that, and through the use of strong colours, it gives that sort of depth. which again makes it easier to see like the details. This little child peeping round here. So fantastic, absolutely beautiful Retina Waite Smith silver edition. I love it. I love everything about it. Let me know your thoughts, and if you are somebody who's been waiting a long time for the Retina Waite Smith to come back, here it is. The time is now. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will be back tomorrow. Apologies I didn't go live last Saturday, but I will be live tomorrow, and we'll look at some decks tomorrow as well that I've not done yet. So it'll be a proper cuppa. We'll have a cuppa together. We'll have a good catch up, and then we'll look at some cards. So see you tomorrow for CC&C if you can make it. Until then, go in peace. Namaste and blessed be.